Yo, 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 no maniacs. Welcome to the show. This is Nomad Live, all Bears all the time in conjunction with Sports Zone Chicago and the Superback Sean Sierra, man. Good afternoon. Good Tuesday to everybody. Kids is having a little bit of technical difficulties. That's why you don't see him right now, but we're going to work through that the best we can today. There he is right there. And so, again, welcome to the show, everybody, man. It's about to be a good conversation, man, because as you saw on the thumbnail, everybody's wondering what Ryan Poles is going to do about this edge position. It's been a lot of noise on the outside, on the perimeter of the franchise. People in the basically the fans are talking about Yannick. He put a video out saying, "Let's get to work. I'm ready." All that kind of stuff, and people are kind of wondering, are they going to sign this dude, or is he going to sign him before this camp starts? Is he waiting until the pads go on? Everybody's curious to know. You've heard me speak on this multiple times about what I think, and it being the thought in my head is maybe he does want to see what's going to happen in pads against the ones with these new pieces that they have. Maybe that's what he's waiting on. I don't know, but whatever it is, I think there's a good cause to be patient with it. But there's also a risk. A risk is if you really covet this player that you want, how long do you really want to wait until you get this guy on paper? All that conversation and we're going to have, plus a few other things. Everybody probably by now has seen the 1920 football drive. If you haven't, check it out. The Bears released the newest one, Meet the Rookies, and it was featuring Kiran Amegadjie. We're going to talk about that, plus a few other items that I want to run by the fellas today. But with that being said, let me pass it on to the Canuck, man, for some pleasantries before we get this thing kicked off.
Well, let's see if this thing actually is working. No maniacs, what's cracking? Hopefully y'all can hear me. Give me a thumbs up, Sean. Yeah, there we go. I'm having technical difficulties here the last couple of days, but it looks like things are working. That being said, happy to have you guys here. Shout out a couple of my homies out there in the woods, in the world. My guy Junior, Patty Laura. Hey, Patty, how are you? Jason, what it do, my friend? Jason, it's Crimson's with us. You dig? Jake Grizz is out there. Evie Bear Down Davis. Evie like Chevy. How are you doing, Evie? Damon Dice is with us today. We've also got Smitty Q. What it do, Smitty Q? FFG Styles out there holding it down. Cornelius Squalls, number 3, No Maniac. My guy Plank is with us, and Country Santa is in the building along with the Superback. How's it going, Superback? What's cracking, my brother? Oh, J2K's out there too. How you doing, sir?
Hey, good to be back. Hope you guys had a good 4th of July weekend. It was good. I had a good time spending it with family. It was good stuff. Good stuff. Back to be talking Bears. Just days closer to people reporting to camp, rookies reporting to camp. We get to talk some Bears football, and for that, I am excited. So sports owners and No Maniacs unite, and let's get down to some good old fashioned Chicago Bears talk with my boys, the Canuck, Be Smooth, and the No Face podcaster. You guys make sure you follow Sports Zone Chicago. All right, on our YouTube channel, you see that. It's free 99, so it doesn't cost you anything. Make sure you go and get our subscriptions up. We're working on some stuff in the background to make this football season even better than last year. All right. With that, I'm gonna kick it over to my guy, Be Smooth,
Country Sam.
Well,
Country
Sean, I'm glad you had a great 4th of July, but I need to see all 10 fingers. I want to make sure you didn't have you didn't do
no
a
JPP?
JJP. Hey, No Maniacs, always great to see you guys. Thanks for stopping by, sharing your time. We got a good show for you. It should be fun. Take it away, Nomad.
All right, man. So we're gonna get to that whole Yannick discussion and the edge rusher discussion. I got a few things I want to bring up as interesting thoughts. Somebody alerted me today and let me know that Flus is in the conversation, kids. He's I think he's tied for, and these guys are projecting, saying that he's the lead candidate. He and John Harbaugh for, I don't know, was it John Harbaugh or Jim Harbaugh? One of them. He's they're in a tie for, candidates for Coach of the Year. They're projecting. And, this conversation about Flus, has gone all over the place on this network and on this channel. People have various thoughts about what they think about Flus. I have my own, and everybody else does too. But with this team that he's being provided with this year versus what he's had, in the past, in that conversation for Coach of the Year, on paper, I think that's probably on par. That's my opinion, but I'm gonna pass it to the Canuck and see what he thinks.
I don't really think about this whole situation, but really it's more of a no-brainer situation. Unfortunately, our guy Eberflus was more or less thrown to the wolves as a first-time head coach. Things didn't work out so well in year one, and that was to be expected. It was what it was. Year two, things weren't all that great either. So we'll get a little bit deeper into year two, about halfway through. He takes over the defense and things start to line up. He starts to form a bond with that defense and they start playing for him. And now we get to see what that defense looks like in full scope. All we're missing is another edge rusher. So right now it's not the end of the world. We get that edge rusher. I think we're in a major push to do some damage in the NFC. Hopefully that's reflected by our record. Hopefully we're a playoff team and better. And if those things prove true, I don't see why this guy should not be in the conversation for Coach of the Year, right? Definitely most improved coach. If, again, some of the things that I just laid out ring true. What do you think, Superback?
Well, he's got to be in the conversation because if not, he could lose his job. All right, he calls the defense.
That's the other side of this. Bang on.
It's kind of all or nothing. All right, if his defense comes out and really takes a step forward, and the defense wins a couple of games for us, okay, key sack at the end of the game, pick, strip, force fumble, pick, whatever. All right, they make big splash plays, then yeah, he's definitely in the conversation. All right, you don't have to win it, but he's going to be in the conversation. As long as he's in the conversation, that's fine. But if they don't, if they start losing, if the defense can't carry him, because it's going to take a minute, I assume, for this offense to get in sync. I mean, it might not. All right, it might. Again, remember we talked about the schedule. We talked about the schedule being easier. All right, the first 9 games or 10 weeks of the season, as opposed to the remaining the second part of it. All right, they can work out all the kinks and really not get exploited by a lot of the teams that they play. So they can win those games and then have, even if we go 7-2 the first 9 games and then split the last 8, that's 11-6, man. That's playoff territory. That's winning the division territory. So if they're anything close to 11-6, yeah, then he's definitely going to be atop the list of candidates for Coach of the Year, as long as someone else, Jim Harbaugh doesn't go and win 10 games or 11 games his first year as well. But yeah, it's for him. And also, here's the thing. John Madden said it best. The NFL is better when the Bears are good. Okay, it just is. It is. And when they're good, then their coach is going to get a lot more accolades. Their star players are going to get more accolades, get more pub. And along with that could be a Coach of the Year, or Coach of the Year nod, being in that conversation. So I hope he is. All right, but that defense got to show out with or without, whether or not they get another proven defensive end. I don't know. I think they might.
Can I ask you a question, man, along those lines you just mentioned right there? Can I ask you something?
Mm-hmm.
Would you say? I think the league is. I think you would agree. The league suffers when the Bears, it's almost, it's not right, that the number one franchise in the NFL, the first franchise in the
charter
NFL,
franchise, yeah,
like that's just a bad look, you know what I mean? So I'm not saying that the NFL has anything to do with that, but it really isn't a very good look. I just wanted to say that.
But think about all the other sports who they're blue bloods, all right? You got the Yankees, they're always good. Well, even when they're not bad. I mean, they might not be winning World Series, but they're still atop. They're still fighting for the division. Boston, all right. Then you got the Dodgers, probably originally in Brooklyn, but now in LA. All right, and Major League Baseball is better. Think of basketball. When the Lakers are going well, okay. When the Celtics are going well, all right. Same thing. Same thing here in the NFL. All right, this is the charter franchise of the NFL, and yeah, it is much better. All right, it's the third largest market in the country. So when the Bears are good, all the peripheral businesses and streams of income are rocking. My buddy owns a bar. All right. When the Bears are good, they are stacked. They're stacks on stacks on stacks in his bar. All right. And what are you doing? You're buying jerseys, you're buying hats, you're buying t-shirts, you're buying fanny packs, you're buying stupid little foam Chicago Bear heads, bear chains. Okay. You're buying all these things. Okay. And that goes, oh, can I just tell you? The numbers came out the other day. The NFL. Let me get it straight because I don't want to lie. I know how much the NFL came out because for those of you who don't know, the NFL is a non-for-profit organization. For those of you who were unaware of that, all right. So at the end of their year, all right, they divvy up all the money, and all the teams get X amount of money. Okay. Well, do you realize that? Here we go. NFL
some sort of
reported $13 billion in revenue, which means each team is getting $400 million. And when you get the third largest market contributing to that, Lord have mercy. So
I'm seeing a few comments come in. I'll get to those later on in the show, you guys. Keep them coming. Hey, it'd be nice if you super chatted it, but we'll respond to them anyway, and bless you for that anyway ahead of time.
So before you transition off of that original point, like Sean, you're so right, and I'm just gonna give a little bit of a contrarian view. What's interesting is, again, and I saw a graphic this week of Chicago sports teams, and this being one of the worst years ever for Chicago sports teams across the board.
Yep.
And team on team on team on team, and I was like, wow, that's saying a lot. But really, what it's saying when you look at it and you take a step back is this is how beloved these teams are in this market, right? Like in the Chicago market, those teams are beloved. There's such an affinity for sports, and in our case specifically for the Chicago Bears. The reality here is the Bears are the one team that serves the entire market. So imagine if they were also a good football team, right? Those times when they are a good football team, it just creates a ripple effect across a generation of football fans. And it's really, you know what I mean? It's really cool to sort of see. And you see that in 85, you see that in the 06 team, you see that in 2010. You started to get a little bit more of it when things were starting to get a little bit good under Nagy, and then we went in the other direction. And now we have the opportunity to see it all grow and build again. And I can't wait to see a whole new generation of Chicago Bears fans rocking that, the blue and orange fingernails. I don't care how you do it. I'm sorry, Sean, but I don't care how you fan like you want to fan. I'm in, and I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see this whole new generation of Bears fans just appear.
Before we pass this to Brian, man, you being from Canada, man, and not really never really experiencing the area, you have no idea of the electricity around here when this team is good. I mean, it gets effing electric around this month.
I believe it.
I mean, so you're talking about the reverberations of a good Chicago Bears football team. That shit goes far and wide when this team is good, man. It's not just felt here in Chicago, but it is a different electricity in this area, man, and it's contagious as hell, man. So yes, we're due. It's time. You know what I mean? It's been a lot of ups and downs, but I feel good about the situation for a lot of different reasons, and some of those reasons we're going to be talking about today, Brian. So how do you feel about Flus being in that conversation for Coach of the Year?
Well, as far as Flus goes, I wasn't a big fan, and I'm still just a little bit cautious. But Sean said something a while back on his podcast that made me think, and it kind of shed new light on how I feel about Flus is when Poles hired him, we didn't know if they may have had a talk, say, hey, we need to strip this team down. That means the defense. I mean, you're getting rid of Khalil. You're getting rid of Quinn. At that time, Roquan was
Roquan.
Yeah, Roquan was, wanting to redo his contract. It's hey, we're ripping this down to the studs. It's going to take a year or two to build up. If that is the case, then that changes my perspective of Flus for the simple fact during 2 years of chaos, he is able to keep this team together. And what's said in the locker room, I don't know, but at least it's not coming out to the media pointing fingers. Hey, it's this guy's fault. It's that guy's fault. So in that respect, I respect Flus, and I'll give him the benefit of the doubt with a little bit of caution, but still support him. As far as individual awards, I'm really don't care. Matt Nagy won Coach of the Year. What the hell that get us?
Right. So, hey, you know what, man? I'm feeling generous today. And since Brian's already kind of took us down this road, I'm tossing the ball over to the Canuck. Give me your level of confidence in Flus this year. Not for Coach of the Year. I'm just talking about in general, leading this charge, being able to, because a lot of people, Coach Sean's wearing that shirt all the time. Coaching matters, man. And to that point, I definitely know on a deep level exactly what he means by that. Definitely know that. But, he's got to steer the ship. Not only that, he's got headset on. He's making calls on the defense. He's involved in the offense to a capacity. When it comes to down and distance and tough games and, that call you have to make is on the line. You got to approve it or no. That's why I'm asking the question. How confident are you in Coach Flus?
It depends. It's a deep question. So I have confidence in Coach Flus and his abilities to galvanize the team, get them to rally around him. I'm definitely going to give him that, and that's something that's important by way of coaching. He definitely knows what he's doing on the defensive side of the ball. There's no questions there. Full confidence. There's really only one place where I lack confidence in Matt Eberflus. It's a very specific place. And I'm not going to sit here and say the offense, because realistically, we all know that's going to fall to another guy, right? It's going to be Shane Waldron managing the offense. Where I lack confidence in Matt Eberflus is the CEO role, and that is his ability to oversee the whole kit and caboodle. So if there's issues on the offense, I would prefer that he pays a little bit of attention and asks a whole lot of questions about those issues to make sure that details are ironed out. And that's something that I didn't see a lot of in the past. But outside of that CEO case scenario for Matt Eberflus, I think that's something he's going to have to grow into. And if he can, I'm going to postulate a little something extra here. I think, much like before with Matt Nagy, since you brought him up there, Brian, Ryan Pace won Executive of the Year as well.
Bingo.
I would be very surprised if, again, this team does enough to achieve some a modicum of success, and that results in a Matt Eberflus Coach of the Year award. I'd be very surprised if Ryan Poles won't be holding some level of an award up right alongside him. Sean?
People forget. Yeah. People forget. This is Eberflus's first time as a head coach.
Yeah.
How good were you at your job your first year? All right. It's a lot easier to be defensive coordinator. It's a lot easier to contribute. A lot easier to give your opinion to the head coach when the spit hits the fan. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When sphincters are tightening and it's 4th and 1, it's a lot easier. Okay, but when you got to go and face the media, because they don't face the media except once a week on Thursdays, but you got to go face that media immediately after the game. And there's that one reporter who's always asking negative questions.
Won't name any names.
Yeah.
It's a whole different thing. So for him to come in, you gotta give him some leeway. All right, his first year was a cluster mess. Okay, Brian just talked about it, stripping the defense down. Okay, you had and you know it hurt him to his core. Hurt him to his core as a defensive coordinator that you got rid of all those guys. Second year, you got better. The second half of the second part of the season, you saw a lot of real improvement. Give him a chance. I personally feel, and here's why I have a lot of confidence in him, and here's why. Is that locker room was galvanized last year. Okay? Do that whole, and actually the first year as well. That locker room was galvanized. Now, if that locker room was splintered, I'd have a whole different take. Okay? I have a whole different take. But that locker room was ready and willing to run through a brick wall for this guy when they're losing 13, 14 straight. Okay? That says something about a man, him as a coach. That says something about him as leader of men. And now that the pendulum is swinging in a positive direction, I have confidence in him. And now here's the most important thing. You have a legit offensive play caller. You're not getting a first-time play caller in Luke Getsy. Okay, you're not. Now you have a dude who's done it with multiple quarterbacks. I think it's going to be. I think he is. I do have confidence in him. See how it plays out.
Before you go, Brian, let me answer Jason, man, because Jason just gave a $4.99 super chat. Thank you so much, Jason. We definitely.
Shout out, Jason.
Hey, listen, he's saying with the teardown. I so agree with what I'm about to read that Jason said with Jason here, man, because I think it's perfectly worded. He said with the teardown, Poles gave Flus time to learn how to be a head coach. This year is shine or fail. This is his year to shine or fail. I don't know how anybody can disagree with that. He learned a lot of lessons during that teardown. And, what was given, what was taken away, considering all of that, him being left with the remnants of a decent roster, that's hard to deal with as a first-time head coach. And we got to see, by way of what Sean just said before, how he was able to keep these guys mended together. That's the most important shit that I can say right now. And that's the biggest compliment I can give Flus right now, is the fact that he kept those guys joined at the hip and they fought. That shit, it was impressive to me. That was very impressive. But, that's not the only thing in the world. There's other nuanced factors to it. Like I think who was that? Scrolls just said something about, it's about what he does in the big game. He doesn't have the big game experience. How does he call a game then? That's a big, huge question mark, and it's worth talking about. But Brian, what do you kind of gave it to me already, but what is your confidence in Flus himself? Not as a coach of the year, but just as a coach.
Well, one, I mean, he's a top-notch defensive coordinator, and obviously he can gain the team's trust and the calmness. In my opinion, if we're all-time coaching, and this is any sport, if I'm putting a Mount Rushmore coaching, the first two guys I'm putting up is John Wooden, UCLA coach back in their dynasty, and Vince Lombardi. Both of their personalities.
You talking about the guy that says, "What's going on out there?" That guy?
Yeah, Vince Lombardi. You don't get it. Both of them have awards named after him. You don't get that by being a slouch. But personality-wise, they was polar opposites. Lombardi, hellfire and brimstone, and his players was afraid of it, which kind of like how Ditka was. John Wooden didn't raise his voice. If anybody's old enough to remember watching UCLA back in their heyday, the most emotion he would show, he had like a program in his hand, and he would just kind of tap his hands. And when the players seen that, that's like when you get called your first and middle name, crap is weak. you got caught messing up. But getting back to Flus, he has that calmness that the players respect, and he's able to hold that team together. I mean, the past 2 years, you can, if you're not a Bears fan, you can laugh at the record. But if you are a Bears fan, hey, we're heading in the right direction. And the guys believe in him. And when you've got a team, you don't have to have all stars. But if they got confidence, believe in themselves, and work as one, that is a team that will achieve.
I'm just laughing at Squeegee. Squeegee's off the chain right about now. But here's my take on the whole thing with Flus.
That's not a good fourth down play call. I'm just saying on fourth down, it's not a good call. Get funky on get funky on second down, maybe third. Maybe.
Here's the thing, FFG style, like you have to be conservative. All right, like some of these. I mean, let's stop taking shots at people. All right, because you have put yourself in that position. When your defense is gone, you got to be conservative. Okay, when your defense is gone, all right, when your offensive line is trash and Justin Fields is running for his life, you have to be conservative. All right, you get rid of Roquan Smith, you get rid of Khalil Mack, you let Akeem Hicks go, you let Bilal Nichols go. All right, you let go of Robert Quinn. Lord have mercy. All right, we saw what happened last year when he flew his first year. So you have to be conservative. Now we need to see him say, okay, now you got a squad. Now you're rolling deep. You got some peoples now. Okay. Now if he stays conservative, FFG, then we have an issue. If he doesn't stay conservative, then you can say, okay, well, obviously he knew what he had. He knew he had to stay conservative. Hey, you got to work with what you got. All right, you got to dance with who brung you. And if that's the only thing he had, you got to stay conservative to try and stay in games, which they did. Very, very, very rarely did the Bears get blown out. But you can't be conservative. Let's not go in there. I agree with you. The conservative has to stop now.
So
okay,
you said you got to dance with what you brought. You never got dumped at prom?
Is that your prom night story, Nomad? Are you giving us a sneak preview in the prom night?
No, I know. Hey, man, I've seen it happen a couple of times. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I had, the girl I went to my junior prom with ended up dating the guy that I shared the limo with. ended up going out with him. Not that night, but ended up going out with him. I was like, all right, but that's another story.
Yeah, man. But here's my final take on this before we move subjects. I'm cautiously optimistic is the best way to put it with Flus. I'll tell you why. Most of you guys already spoke on it. I've seen it a couple of times in the chat. The conservative part that Sean just was speaking to. Let me speak to that because he's absolutely right when he's talking about you only can play with what you have, and to be tight and conservative, is something that you probably learn to be, knowing that you have not what you need out there, and so it can go. Malfunction can happen in a minute. You know what I mean? Because you don't have the pieces that you need out there on the field. So I understand conservative mindset when it comes to the defensive play. Now, when there's moments when you absolutely have to come out of that just to give your team a chance. That's the part that I took. I kind of bristled against that, man, because I said you got to give these guys a chance. Get a little bit more pressure on the quarterback. Don't be so tight and sit in the cover two so much. When times you gotta confuse it a little bit, and it was too predictable. And so I understand what everybody means by him not being conservative. Understand what Sean and I are saying by why you have to be conservative, but that's the problem I have with Flus right now. But I'm so glad we brought on Eric Washington, and I hope, I pray that he's a big voice in Flus's ear this year when it comes to situational football, because I do think he can grow in a big way in that area. Other than that, I think Flus has done some people might not agree with this, but I think he's done a miraculous job in other areas of team building, bonding, keeping everything mended. I think he's been the bomb at building that culture and building that kind of standard that you need. Every coach has to have a standard and, a kind of a beat to everybody dances to. And I think he's got that in spades. And so the growth that I expect to see out of Flus, based on his experiences in the last couple of years, I think that's going to take him a long way. But we'll see, if all those up and down lessons that he's learned, he's able to apply them to a team that's built now. I want to see. I'm eager to see how he handles this, and I do have some confidence in him. I really do. I have some straight up confidence in him. I think when you have a good defense and you can lean on it, solid running game that you can lean on, and you got a quarterback that you're bringing up, that's the only thing you would want to question is how long is it going to take this cat to get up to speed, and Sean is right. Whether that thing goes up in an upward trend or down, it's going to end up costing Flus eventually. I know a lot of people will say, you can't really blame Flus for a young rookie quarterback and his mistakes. But I'm telling you right now, the media absolutely will crucify Flus.
Well, yeah, right. Like they're in every. I can't say it that way. How do I? In every crap situation out there, you'll find a scapegoat, right? And in this particular situation, they're not going to get rid of the rookie quarterback if he has a tough time season one. They're not going to get rid of the brand fresh, spanking new offensive coordinator who actually has experience being an offensive coordinator. There's a longer list of guys that they kind of can't blame a non-positive situation this season on. The clear and easy and obvious target, unfortunately, is the guy with the new beard. And I hope the new beard,
Hey?
No, yours is still, wait for it to get full bodied. And we'll he's no longer country Santa. He's just country right now. But we'll
I'm an
get
elf.
back to Santa. You're an elf? Okay, fair enough. But I'm talking Flus. The beard's working. That beard power in full effect. In any event, I don't know, man. I'm not sure if he can avoid that target being put on his back in a poor season this season. So
man, it happens.
But it'll depend.
Man.
It'll
It happens
depend.
to every coach at some point.
How do you dodge it, Sean? Like,
Here's
how
how
go?
If you lose a couple of games because of the offense, all right. If the offense, all right, if it takes Caleb a while to get rid of to get acclimated, the offense, if it takes him a while, and they lose a couple games. They lose a game 10-7. All right, that's not on the defense. All right, they lose a game, 17-14. That's not on the defense.
Instead of saying, Sean, let me ask you, what's an indictment? If you had to point the finger at Flus, what would you call an indictment?
Defense giving up 20 plus points on a regular basis. That if you give up, if his defense doesn't give up 21, if they give up less than 20 points a game, they're going to be in the games. There's too much offensive firepower. So if defense, just hold them under 20. What was Lovey said? Just hold them under 17. That what Lovey said? Hold them under, just hold them to 14, and we got them. That's what Lovey said. His defense, just hold us 14. It's, you know what I mean. So yeah, an indictment would be offense is going up and down. That opposing offense is going up and down the field, and defense giving up more than 21 points a game. That's going to be a problem.
Okay. Well, we got to switch topics, but I think there's a pretty good chance. I think I feel good in saying that Poles just put Flus in a position to basically rise as a coach. You know what I mean? Instead of, the other way around. I don't know, other than getting that edge player, maybe somebody else on the offensive line, how you bolster that. I still think we need another one tech. We need a big body. Somebody put a video out earlier today talking about Linval Joseph. I think it's a good. He's 35, but that's the proper piece to put behind. 1 year contract. You guys, 1 year. He just played a full season in Buffalo. He's fine. He can still play football. 35 years old, 1 year contract will not hurt this guy. And while you're in the market to get the next guy, you need one of those 1 year contracts from a big body. But before you jump on that, kids, we got to switch subjects. Because
let's do that.
I know you're ready to say something about that, but
I am.
We'll come back. Maybe we'll come back to that. But let's talk about that 1920 football draft. So I watched it this morning, fellas, and I had a good idea of who Kiran Amegadjie was, but I got a whole lot more insight into his makeup watching that thing, man. And one thing that really jumped out at me, and trust me, this is no knock against him, is how mild-mannered he is and how, he came up that way, pretty meek, quiet, doesn't seem to have an aggressive bone in his body. Why am I going down that road? Is because
I know why you're going on that road.
Oh, yeah, you know exactly where I'm going, because we in Chicago tend to favor those straight up aggressive, nasty demeanor type guys in the city, man. We like nasty offensive linemen. And so what I'm going to pass it to you and say before I give it to you, kid, I'm going to pass this ball. This guy, I think he's got a switch in him, because his personality off field and the way his parents describe him, his sister describes him, is like polar opposite of what you see on tape. I think he's got a switch he turns on, because you definitely see that nasty on film and the way he finishes players, man. So I learned a lot, but at first, I bet your novice person watching that video is like, man, he's kind of soft. Nah, just watch the film. Forget all that shit that they're talking about on 1920. Watch the goddamn film, and you tell me if he's soft. But go ahead, kids.
Yeah, so growing up with as many Africans as I have over the years, Africans tend to be soft-spoken people, and I hate to use the term mild-mannered, but maybe it might be a little bit fitting. They tend to be a little bit reserved as a people. That being said, I don't know how many pancakes y'all saw on some of them clips on 1920, but there was a bunch of them. So I'm under the impression that, again, he's simply a little bit more of a respectful and reserved character and a monster on the field, because I didn't see any lack of that in gameplay footage, especially those highlights that they were showing. There was a lot of highlights where he's just putting edge rushers in the dirt. Tell me different if you missed some of that. So that's really what I saw out there as far as the actual piece on him and his family. It was really cool to sort of see a homegrown kid. One of the things that I did when we first looked at Kiran, when we were doing our original show, I jumped on the Twitter and kind of took a look at his Twitter, and he's got some tweets out there because he's an OG Bears fan from Illinois. He's got some interesting tweets, just talking trash about how bad the offensive line play has been in Chicago over the years. So what we're really talking about here is a kid who gets it, has gotten it for a long time, has styled and patterned his play in a manner that he feels will be effective in Chicago to help uplift that offensive line. I can't wait to see him on the field. I enjoyed the documentary across the board.
Sean,
Go 1920.
Before you go, Evie, my dear, just made the bomb-ass statement. She said, my mom used to say, watch out for those quiet ones. Boy, if I can't tell you some goddamn stories about that, Evie. That shit is so right. I can't even express. I can tell you, we can sit here for the rest of the show and another 2 hours. I can tell you stories about that. That shit is true. Don't quiet ones, I'm switching them, man. But go ahead, Shaw.
He's very, very. I've grown up. I lived around Africans as well. Like you said, they're very respectful. All right, yes. They're very in control of their emotions. Okay, very. Okay, when you look, if you know people, if you had to grow up a certain way, you could tell by the look in a person's eye that they got that switch. He's got that look in his eye that he's got that switch. He's got that, and I thought the same thing at first. I'm like, he looks a little lazy eye, but when he's talking and you see the fire in that, I was like, oh, okay, hold on. Then you watch, and then he's driving people, damn near off the screen. I'm like, I like this kind of party. Okay, and you just watch it and you see it. You don't got to be loud and braggadocious about it. You can do that. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be done. All right. So now I'm just looking for, now how is it going to translate? Because I saw him move a little slow. Okay, against the 1AA competition or FCS competition. So I was like, just make sure I'm hoping and praying that he's picked up, did some footwork, got a little quicker, because I saw him a little slow at times. But as far as finishing, he's rolling you over. If you're stumbling or you lost balance, you're getting pancaked. And if you don't get pancaked, guess what? He's pushing your ass off the field. He's pushing you right off the field. All right. So yeah, I saw that in his eye. I was like, yeah, I like this kid. So we'll see. We'll see if how well he holds up.
And shout out to Evie, darling. Evie. Good freaking call. That was a good comment. I'm glad you put that in there. Thank you for that, Evie. Well, go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, as far as Kiran goes, I mean, when the Bears drafted him, of course, I'm looking at YouTube clips and, pancake after pancake after pancake. And then there was an interview shortly after he was drafted. And, of course, being from the Chicago area and getting drafted by Chicago, I mean, he was, over the moon. But he made a comment, and it was the tone that he said it and the look on his face. The quarterback won't be touched. And it was like, I'm seeing this on Bill, and I'm kind of stepping back. It was scaring me. And I'm really glad. I'm going to give a shout out to Berlissimo, because he brought it up on my timeline on Twitter about the 1920 video. And then I went and seen it. And I'm glad to see that side. And you guys are exactly right with that switch. During the interview, seems like a very mild manner, very respectful young man. I mean, he was raised right. And I mean that with all respect. But, when the helmet and pads come on and he's on the field, it's like a Jekyll and Hyde. And I'm very glad that the Bears got him.
So shout out to King, real quick. Shout out to King for the $2 super chat. 19th ranked ? Bullshit is what he wants to say. And I think he's talking about. I think he's saying.
Hey, this is Nomad Live. Damn it.
Yeah, I gotta watch. Hey man, I'm not sure. King, let me know. You guys, let me know if they were ranking our defense 19th or the secondary. I think it was secondary, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. No, that's the secondary. Specifically was the 19th. So I wanted to touch on
in the NFL.
In the NFL, bro, you didn't see that. Sean, tell me you saw
that face is the face I had. That's the face I had when I heard this too. They also decided to leave DeAndre Swift off of the top 10 running backs list going into this season. And you know what? I'm fine with all this, right? Yes. I'm super happy. You know what I'm saying? Please,
it might have been done on purpose.
This is what I'm saying. Continue to completely underestimate the Chicago Bears NFL. Please continue to do it. That's what I want to see. This way, all the more surprise, like Gomer Powell would say, come September. I'm ready for the big surprise. Watch it. It's coming.
Man,
they're sleeping on us.
Listen, man. Thank you for that again, King. Man, we appreciate it.
Yes.
But that's bulletin board material. If I'm the coach, I thought we talked about this with you, Sean, but I guess we did that on Nomad at Night the other day.
Yeah, we did know. Yeah.
So yeah, they did rank us 19th, man. And you know what it is, Sean. You get some shit like that come across, an article come across like that, send it straight to put it straight. Let's print some copies, blow that shit up, take it to Kinko's or wherever the F you go get your stuff done at, but bring it back. I need like 30 to 50 of them things. We're putting it everywhere.
Yeah, you just paste that all over the wall.
How you do that? I mean, and this is what gives. This is why a lot of people think PFF is trash. All right. I mean, and this was just a secondary. It doesn't matter. Secondary or defense, it doesn't matter. They're the number one defense the last eight weeks of the season.
Sean, it matters, bro.
And then they added an all-pro free safety.
Yeah.
You know, Sean,
Tied for the
you know
most.
they base everything, they measure everything as a metric. They have
Yeah.
a metric. And
Yes.
that's how they
So-
come to those conclusions.
Yes.
So
and
hold
that's
on now.
why-
I don't know if I can blame this one on metrics, and there's reasons for this. And here's the first one. You know who is on this list, right? Like who's above us on this list? Where's Don Burr at? Like I know you're in the chat, Don Burr. I know you're in the chat,
Oh,
but the
boy.
Detroit Lions are above us by way of secondary ranking. They're the 31st ranked secondary by way of numbers in the NFL. Period. Last season, that's just like a factual statement. Somehow the PFF ranking has them again above us. Now this might be based potentially maybe on some of the draft picks they pulled in. Like they went deep into secondary in the draft, and Terrion Arnold's he's an amazing talent. Let's just put these things out there. He's never played it down in the NFL. So I'm not so sure if he can just speculate that the 31st secondary in the NFL is now better than the Chicago Bears, who once more tied for leading the league with interceptions this past season. We're tied with San Francisco, right? They're the two most turnover happy teams by way of the secondary specifically. And suddenly they're worse than the 31st statistical secondary. I don't get it. Like, if you're going to throw analytics into the mix here, I don't know what sort of formula you're basing this off of, because it doesn't make any sense to me.
No,
they're a joke, dude. They're a joke. It bugs me. You know what? It really, really bugs me how you can do. I mean, put out the trash that they continue to put out. It's like, come on, man. Like, and I'm not saying this because I'm a Bear fan, but I'm saying you got the team that was, once Montez Sweat came, the number one defense the last 6-8 weeks of the season. They add an all-pro free safety, and then you rank them 18th, 19th. Like, in what world does that make sense? In the same system, you're not getting a new head coach. You're not getting a new defensive coordinator. You're adding an all-pro player. You're replacing a faded all-pro player with a younger all-pro player, and we go down. Like, it make sense to me, because that don't.
Yeah,
the math ain't mathing.
You can't really make sense of it. But that's why I brought up the whole conversation about metrics. And thank you, FFG, for that. Kiran King, Village King at the draft party, Beast coming. I love that scene, man. You know, the whole dashiki thing and African garb is fairly, I don't know, kind of a lost concept to people in the United States, Black people in the United States. But I have a great godmother who's kept me steeped in that culture. I don't own one myself, but I have in the past. But beautiful, beautiful garb, man. I love to see stuff like that. So thank you for that super chat, FFG. But back to the subject, man. You know, it's the metrics. You know, how do you come to that conclusion? How do you look at what you measure? You know, however you analyze this stuff versus the film. How do you?
This is what I'm
it's
saying,
got to be a marriage, because it's got to be a marriage between the two before you go out and make a broad statement like that.
I don't think there is. Like, I'm just saying that because, like, statistically, what they're saying just doesn't jive. The math ain't mathing. The superback, the math ain't mathing. I don't see how you can find numbers that lead to this. Again, imagine, like, I might be forgetting that our guy went to the Pro Bowl last season, right? Like, I don't get it. I don't get how you come to
maybe
number
it's what
9.
the scrolls just said. I mean, we did get diced up a few times.
We did. Like, we did get diced up, and most of that was in the beginning of the season, first 7 games. Now, let's even give him for first 10 games, where Montez Sweat was just coming in, and now the secondary can read and react and act a little bit differently. They can jump routes. So, like, again, like I said a little bit earlier on, let them underestimate us, bro. That's where I'm at. I'm actually happy for it. I want them to post the number 19s all over that locker room. I think in the running back room, the number 10 should be posted in there. And I just, come September, they're gonna unleash on these teams. And folks are going to be like, oh, PFF lied to us all. PFF didn't know what the hell they were talking about. And we'll leave it at that because
It's
there's no analytics.
It's bothersome because it's, you know what's a Nomad said it. What are you watching? What are you watching? What in God's name? How can you not say that? And then you add an Eric Washington to that defensive line.
Yes.
I mean, you talk about the additions to that defense, who was the number one defense for the last 6-8 weeks of the season. You had a younger Pro Bowl safety, and a stud defensive coordinator / defensive line coach. I don't know.
Well,
Where's
the fact that the guys who left the secondary were upgraded.
Hold on, guys. I gotta take control because we gotta save some time for the main topic. But yeah, thank you, King, for taking us down that road. I ain't see that one coming, boy. We took off, got on the wrong exit ramp, but it was a good conversation about that. That's how they measure things. You know, one of these days I'll ask some PFF people to come on here and maybe they can explain to us how they get to those conclusions or something, man. You know, because it's a big question mark to me for sure. What'd you say, Sean?
Why are you so stupid?
Yeah. Hey, listen. So Kiran Amegadjie, I have nothing but confidence in this young man because his body is gonna mature. His game is gonna mature. He does not have a lot of football experience, man. He started off late. You know, he didn't. He's just now. When we're talking about a player getting ready to blossom, I mean, he's a bud right now. He's a bud. I mean, he just came out as a small bud at that. But some of the stuff to his game, you know, is very, very, you know, this dude the way his drive, listen to how much he's driven. That's probably the most impressive thing I heard. You know, once he sets his mind to something, he intends on seeing that shit out, man. And, you know, that's the impressive part of Kiran Amegadjie to me. I'm just going to enjoy watching this dude grow. But on to the next topic, which is the main topic. What the hell is going on with signing this edge rusher? Of course, I'm going to reiterate what I said. I've said this multiple times on the show. You guys are probably tired of hearing me say it. I thought I always thought that they were going to see, because they have so many different new pieces in here, they were going to want to see what was going on in pads against the ones. In particular, circle that comment. Want to see these new pieces against the ones before they go out and sign this new edge rusher or the pre-existing edge rusher in Yannick Ngakoue. Now, they still may have the intention to do it. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but I'm thinking if I had to guess, that's what's probably going on inside the building. Either that or they being patient and very patient about getting, you know, Yannick to a dollar amount. It could be any of those couple of things right there, trying to monitor his injury progress. Any number of those three things could be going on all at the same time. So, you know, I'm going to answer my own question. That's what I think is going on. But what say you, kids?
Well, I'm hoping it's the same thing that you're more or less saying. I just hope that maybe they're taking the time to get a good look at Austin Booker, get a good look at the new and improved Dominique Robinson, take a deeper look at that 3-tech position and Gervon's ascension, right? Like these are things they probably want to take a closer look at before they go and put pen to paper. But even then, I'd still just go sign Yannick. Like it's all about, to me, it's really just it's really about dollars and cents, right? That's all this comes down to. They don't want to pay $10 million for either him or Agba. I'll just put that out there right now. So I expect somewhere in and around $6 to $7 million for either one of those guys. If neither one wants it, I think they go to market. I think they go to market with what they have. That's me. I think they test the waters. What do you think, Sean?
Yeah. Again, Ngakoue needs a job, so you don't need him right now. Okay, you don't. Right. So the longer you wait, more his price goes down. Okay, we'll wait. Guess what? We will wait, and that's what polls are showing. He has no problem doing. More power to him. So it's and he's obviously looking to get signed. He wants to know where he's going to be. He wants to know where his significant other and kid. Like there's a whole bunch. Excuse me. There's a whole bunch of other things that go along than just football. You forget about their actual people. All right. So you want to get settled. You want your kids, if you got kids, you want to get him in schools. There's a whole bunch of other things. And you'll take less money just to have that peace of mind. Just to have that peace of mind. Like, all right, cool. I know it's less, but it'll be a 1 year prove it year. But no, they're gonna wait, and he's gonna have to,
Hey, what do you think about King Booker saying he thinks Yannick is already signed and just waiting to announce it on Hard Knocks?
Maybe that's just what's going on. Maybe nobody's signing anything until Hard Knocks. Maybe that's just the deal.
Possible.
That
Possible.
is interesting. I hadn't thought about that. What say
very
you?
good.
Oh, as far as with the free agent edge rushers that's available, I don't see any of them that they're going to put the defense over the top. So why not wait? Because the longer you wait, the price does go down. 2, when training camp starts, see what you got. You never know about injuries or what's going to happen to not only your team, the Bears, but across the league injury-wise. And with training camp, you get to see the full team. Maybe a draft pick or a undrafted pick really shines. And okay, now you may think about, all right, we didn't think about trading this one player to get an edge that can put the defense over the top. So, I mean, there's always that. Another thing, this time last year, Yannick got signed, right around the start of training camp. So he's a year older and coming off an injury. I really don't see other teams just, banging on the door to sign him right now. So in my opinion, it'd be smart for them to wait.
Now, here's my take on that, and that very thing Brian just said last is what kind of has my antennas up, because we don't know really what the market is for him. We don't know what he's being offered. We don't know whether they're trying to get him down to a number, which I'm sure they are. And we don't know if, he might be having another team that's like, if these dudes don't get me by the time training camp start, I might go to San Diego or something, or LA, wherever it is that, it could be any, like Yannick Ngakoue, even though he had a down season. Let me explain something to everybody. Yannick Ngakoue is a pass rush specialist. That's what he does. He's uniquely qualified to rush the passer. Not saying that he's not qualified to do other things on the field. He may not be quite as good, and that's probably a proven fact. He's not as good a edge setter as he is a pass rusher, but this dude is absolutely. Don't take that down year he had with us for like some kind of indictment on Yannick Ngakoue. This dude can play, man. He can play. He just had a down year, and I do think there's a slight risk. You know what? I don't even know if it's a slight risk. There's a risk that you can wait a little bit too long and miss a guy that you might have coveted. So that aspect of it, I just had to make sure I throw out there, because if they intend on getting him in this building, if he's healthy, I would rather them strike now rather than later. And I know they want to see what these guys have in pads too, but that's just my take on it.
Well, every Bear Down Davis for the win one more time again today. Yannick improved when Tez was signed, and that's just the facts of the matter. And you have to look at 2 things. The first thing being, who do you think was getting double teamed before Montez Sweat showed up? Right, so that double team was automatically going to Yannick Ngakoue. Was he going to be quite as impressive as he is when potentially the double team's going to the other side and he's running free? No. And that's really what we need. We need a free run-in defensive end, edge rushing, pass rusher. That's what we need. He does it. We know he did it and can do it. I'm with it. I don't really have any problems with him as a potential, edge rusher for us. I think it's an easy signing. Worst come to worst, if any of these guys don't turn up and show out at during training camp. But geez, man, the one thing I do want to say here is that the ankle, people a little bit worried about the ankle. Yannick Ngakoue really hasn't been a very injury-prone guy over the course of his career. Feel free to take a look. It's not as if this is a recurring thing and a regular thing for him. He hurt his ankle last year. He came back and started. Well, sorry, he'll come back and he'll put things into place again. I guarantee it. Trust me.
I know right now Chris is somewhere. If he could be, he'd be throwing rocks trying to break my window right now.
I'm sorry, C Sharp. I'm sorry.
You too, all the way in Canada. He be trying to bust your damn window. He don't want nothing to do with no Yannick Ngakoue. Get him out of here. Get him off my team. One bad year, he has a down year, and that's how Chris felt about him. R.I.P. to my guy Chris, man. But yeah. So guys, I said this is up to Sean because Sean said he did let me know. And I forgot before I made the statement that we were going to be answering questions in the chat. But Sean does have something to do, but it's up to him whether or not he has time to answer a couple of questions. It's up to you, big bro.
Yeah, I got to like 410. Yeah, and that's I need a definite hard exit at 410.
All right, let's get it. Let's see if we can grab a couple questions real quick. Let me see here. Let me see, Everyone to know, what do you guys think of signing Yannick or acquiring Connor Williams, like a either or? I think, Sean, let's just let you answer that right quick.
Is Connor Williams coming off an injury?
Yes.
ACL, as a matter of fact.
His second one.
Then you know what? Then you do. Then if you want to go that route, then deal with the W know versus the W don't know, and that's Yannick Ngakoue. Contingent on his medicals. I mean, you know what he is. You know what he's going to give you. You know, he had one bad year, which, you know, why do Muzz got to have a bad year when they come here? But that's another story. Yeah, that I could see that either. Yeah, I could see Ngakoue coming back.
Okay. Let me ask this. I think this is directed towards me, but I don't even know if I can answer it. FFG Style wants to know, he said at Nomad, what is the most unbreakable Bears record that will be close to being matched? You know what? I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not steeped in Bears records that much. I don't know if I can answer that question. But the one that really sticks out to me is probably some Walter Payton record, or either that or the amount of turnovers. If I had to point to one, I bet you if I had to guess that 85 team had more turnovers than not. So I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. If anybody else wants to tackle that, go ahead.
So I'll touch some of that. Interesting. The first record isn't necessarily a Bears record that I think might be eclipsed. So it would be a record set by a Bears quarterback, though. So good old Caleb Williams. Apparently, rookie quarterbacks have only won 7 games in a season thus far. I think that's the maximum, something to that effect. I think he has the ability to win more than the standard rookie quarterbacks. Maybe that's the average. Wonder how many. No, Stroud must have won more than 7 last season. It's got to be the average. So I think maybe he can set the win record. That's the first one I'm going to say as a quarterback. He can, like, the other quarterback passing records are pretty low wallet share. I think he can pass I think he could potentially surpass the yardage record by way of quarterback just for passing. He could potentially surpass the touchdown record in the Bears for passing. I believe it's 26, if I'm correct. I think it's 26 on the season. These are not unheard of numbers. You know, I think the passing yardage for us is around 32. Maybe it's 36 in a season for Kramer. I know Kramer holds it. But I think those are all potentially beatable things. Does he do that this season? I don't know. Fingers crossed. Hopefully he can make it a major impact. I'm praying for just surprise for the first 10 games of this season. I think they can come out on top for the better part of that. And if that's the case, a lot of those records could be in jeopardy.
So really quick, man, this is the last one we got to get out of here, man. So Sean can sign off and go do what he's on a phone call right now. That's why he's not on the screen. But So King Booker World again with this one. This one got to me. I was just like, people, that kind of stuff going on. So he's asking, did y'all see the Wikipedia page showing Connor Williams as a Chicago Bears? Yes, I did see that. And, I think that people you can individually, if you have a Wikipedia page, you can individually.
Anybody can edit it. You're right.
Anybody or just that person?
Anybody can edit it. That's why you found. Remember when Darnell Mooney cooked somebody last year on a deep route, and I don't think he caught the ball. And I'm trying to remember who the corner was, but like the following day in his Wikipedia was like Darnell Mooney is this particular cornerback's daddy, and that was that's what was written in Wikipedia. He's the father of boom, whoever this. I think it was Jalen Ramsey, bro. He was like he's Jalen Ramsey's daddy.
So you can go in there and say Nomad is presently 8 months pregnant with twins.
Yeah. When you go to Wikipedia, when you look right underneath Wikipedia, it says if you have any more information about this particular person or whatever, please add. And then it has that little link that you click on and you add. So yeah, you could type up anything.
Damn. Well, that being said, somebody's trying to manifest that, man. Somebody is trying to. I bet you by now, Connor Williams has gotten wind of it. It's like, who's out here effing with my stuff, man? Come on now. I'm trying to get, for all we know, now Connor Williams. Now Connor Williams. Now listen, this is a subject that I was going to bring up, but I'll touch on it briefly before we get ready to get off the air. I'll save it for another show. But
that's what I was laughing at.
That's pretty funny, man. Hell no, man. But listen, man, Connor Williams is an absolute stud center. Absolute stud center with a major knee injury. Some people said that, when it happened that, the chances of him coming back and ever being 100% is like kind of a leap. I heard that at the very beginning when he first got injured. Now, word is that he's healed and he's ready for camp and doing whatever a team asks him to do. So there's two theories out there, and where he lies in that spectrum, I have no idea. But for the future, I think he'd be he's definitely a stud a center. But here's what I want to tell you guys, and I'll tease this for the next show. I've been watching Ryan Bates really, really closely, watching his film. And if you guys want to, if you don't want to sit and watch whole games and do all 22 breakdowns like I do, go ahead and watch the Football Scout. Type that in YouTube, the Football Scouts. He does some pretty good breakdown videos. He's got some videos out on Ryan Bates. If you want that short form content and you don't want to do all 22s, check out the Football Scout. I'm telling you, we got a steal in Ryan Bates. There's a reason why he went after this guy a second time around. You just got to watch and understand the nuanced details in his game. This cat's feet for a 315-pound guy are extremely nimble. He's fast. He uses his hands as weapons. Leverage. I mean, they show a couple of pancakes, and one was on actually Ryan Billings. I mean, what's his name? Billings that plays for us. Man, he just straight up fork trucked this guy, man. Threw him on his ass. You ought to see, I'm telling you, Ryan Bates is absolutely impressive. And I'll give you another prediction. Things go right. He keeps that same mindset he had in Buffalo, and he takes the starting role, and this team starts to do what we think they can do. I'm telling you, looking at a future Pro Bowl center. Ryan Bates is tough. I mean, absolutely tough. I know you guys don't quite know that yet, and I know Connor Williams is like eye candy to everybody, but I'm telling you, he's going to give you guys some pleasant surprises this year. I'm just going to touch on that before we get ready to before I pass this ball to kids and give some shout outs before we wrap this up. Just wanted to mention that.
Could I? You want to jump on that, kids? Because I had something to say about him too.
Y'all go ahead, man. My bad.
Have you back, super back.
No, yeah. So that I'm good, man. As long as you want to go now. So whatever needed to get done, got done. So, man, you know what? The problem with a lot of fan bases, ours included, is you think that everybody wants an all-pro at every position.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you don't have to be an all-pro to be good.
Exactly.
You don't have to be an all-pro to be effective. All right. People are like, well, he's the best, he's this, he's that. Okay, I get it. When you get someone who's, first of all, let's look at the two guards. All right. Davis and Tevin Jenkins. The two guards in your center is your run game. That's your run game. Okay. We see how Nate Davis went at times last year. Wow. When he came back from his, personal situation, and we know what Tevin Jenkins is. We didn't have that. We didn't have a center who could be on par violently with those guys. Now you got a guy who's on par, who's as violent as those two. Watch out for this run game. You don't have to be an all-pro. You don't have to be a gold jacket. Where you could be really good, and if you're a really good center with those two guys next to you, a high tide raises all ships. If you got two stud guards and you're pretty good, they're gonna make you look even better.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sean,
go ahead. What's up, Nomad?
I just wanted to throw this at you. Watching, and I'm just gonna ask you if you get some time, man. Really, really dig into his film for me, Sean, because
I looked at when we drafted him or when we signed him. I watched some of his film.
Okay.
Dude, he's nasty. I love him.
Man, dude, if we had to look at the centers we've had for the past few years, and I think across the board, I think you get unanimous consent when I say this. I think the biggest problem with every center we've had in the last few years has been pass pro, right? The biggest problem out of them all is they get worked in pass pro and the quarterback suffers, right? This is Ryan Bates' bag. This is where Ryan Bates shines in pass pro. I mean, stellar pass protection. This guy is really, really good at that. Where we were weak last year, this cat is strong. I'm not just saying that. I'm just going to challenge everybody to go to the tape if you like and just see if Nomad knows what the hell he's talking about. But I'm telling you, that's what's going to come across to you. This guy, he's a wall in pass protection. He deals with some big dudes in there. I'm talking about from center to guard, but in particular, I look at the center reps. Nobody's touching that quarterback with him at center. I'm just saying.
Well, he does a good job of snapping and striking. His strike after the snap. Well, first of all, he doesn't have bad snaps like we had majority of last season.
Season?
That's for starters. But his attack, his punch after the snap is so quick. I mean, because you're dealing with defensive linemen who, as soon as that ball moves, if that center flinches, they're coming across.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, his punch is very, very quick, and that's huge for us. So I watched. Believe me, man, I checked it once we signed him. I looked at some of his tape. I'm like, okay, I like this kind of party. This guy can do it with a healthy, nasty Nate Davis and a healthy Tevin Jenkins. Our run game going to be crazy, which is going to help our passing game. So yeah, I like it. I have now. All you need is continuity. You got the pieces.
Yeah.
Now you just have to learn how to play in sync with each other. And you know what? So let me ask you this, Nomad. All right, we got a game in about a month, a couple weeks, 3 weeks, right? Maybe a month. When's the Hall of Fame game? The first?
Oh, got me off guard. I'm not sure.
Well, how long? We got an extra preseason game. How long? And I said, let me ask you, because I'll tell you what my thought. How long does this offense play? August what?
We talking about O-line and quarterback?
Yes.
O-line and quarterback, I think, needs no less than in this game. It's an exhibition and it's for a cause, but this is about reps for the Bears. I'd say no less than a a quarter and a half, no less. In my book, they ought to be.
I said a half.
I said a half too.
I said a half.
Yeah.
You said 1.5 quarters. I said a half.
And no less than that 1.5 quarters. Yeah, man. I think it's not because it's
Thanks,
only
Luigi
because
Jr.
you need some chemistry built, man. You got to take advantage of these.
But it needs to be against live bullets. That's
live reps, right?
You can build. I mean, you're gonna be snapping and playing with these guys all day long. You get snap every day, but it's not against live bullets. All right, that's what it's got to be about, and that's why I want to know. You said minimum 1.5 quarters. I'm like minimum a half.
Right. I hope that's his mindset, because I think they need it more. I think they need it desperately based on some of the stuff that was coming out of camp, OTAs. When you hear all that stuff about cadences and some of the stuff we heard coming out of there, Sean, as a coach what that means. That means there's not the symmetry is nowhere near where it needs to be, and it's almost like mandatory that they play many snaps in the preseason. So
you know what, bro? I'm telling you, when you watched. I watched Caleb in the thing. I'm telling you, there's a lot of stuff just made up. Because when they brought him in for his 30 for 30 or his top 30 visit, that's 30 for 30. They brought him in for his top 30 visit, right? And they're like, and he said something like, they're saying, "Oh, I've been sitting on it for like a month." Caleb's like, "No, we've been sitting on it for 5 months." I was like, he hit the cat out of the bag. Maybe I don't know if it's maybe 5 months, but they've been in contact with his quarterback coach and Waldron. All right. So as soon as they signed Shane Waldron, and I guarantee, because I don't know, but I guarantee, damn, he got all that stuff. Remember we talked about all that stuff was worked out, all the cadence, all of this, and I think the media just ran with stuff because they didn't really have much stuff to run. Because you do have to run, but he's working out with. Remember, he's working out with Keenan Allen. He's working out with Roma Dunze. He's got all those guys there. Not conspiracy theory on that one. I'm just saying you could have worked on a lot of that stuff and gotten the kinks out early. And like I said, he kind of showed his hand a little bit when he said, "Yeah, we've been holding it for 5 months." I'm like, "Oh,
Sean, before you stop talking, let me throw this too at you. And this, I think, is almost as important as anything we're talking about in and around this subject right here. They need to dial in, and hopefully they are dialed in and committed to Ryan Bates as a center. Because why? That guy needs to get as many snaps from the actual center as humanly possible. They don't need that ring around the, musical chairs at the damn center spot. They gotta have it dialed in. They need to show confidence in Ryan Bates if he's the guy that they intend on playing, and get this guy as many snaps as he can with Caleb Williams. Those are the two people that are most important in this scenario. The receivers, they'll come along, and the connection between those two, the quarterback and the receivers, all that stuff will work itself out. But the chemistry and symmetry between the center and the quarterback needs to be dialed in. I know Sean won't disagree with that one.
Why do you think Peyton Manning in his Hall of Fame speech didn't talk about, I got to get one more touchdown pass to Marvin Harrison? Did he? He's like, if I could just stick my hand under Jeff Saturday's ass one more time.
Hey, can you give Squeegee a good shout out? He said he didn't subscribe during the show, but can I get a shout out anyway?
Big shout out, Squeegee. Squeegee's up in this mother Hubbard. Hell yeah, Squeegee. But Peyton Manning, because there's a bond that you have, that a quarterback has with his center, because that's the dude who, if he screws up, man, you're dead as a quarterback. We all know the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. If that dude screws up, man.
Sean, I knew this was coming. In the grass said we don't mind injuries during the preseason. Hell yeah, we mind in the grass, but it's a risk that you got to take.
Welcome to the game called football.
Unfortunately, it's a risk that you have to take under these circumstances. I think the risk is worth taking. In order for you to be a good team, get off to a good start, and not have your head coach in jeopardy in the first 4 weeks of the season because symmetry was not met. That's why you have to take that risk in the grass. I respect that.
The grass.
I respect that because I feel I got the same
Answer me this
feeling.
question. Answer me this question. All right. Quarterback for the Jets last year. All right. Played some preseason games. He didn't play a lot in the preseason. How many plays did he play in the regular season? That guy, Aaron something or other. All right. 4 plays before he tore
game one.
Before he tore his Achilles. All right. Injuries happen. They happen. So you can't dance around injuries. You can't go play. You cannot play this game scared. Now, playing the whole quarter, the whole game, no, you're not doing it. That's nonsense. Okay, but there's got to be a time you need. This is not. We're not dealing with a quarterback who's in the third year of the same system, the same play call, and the same players. All right, we're not in that system. If that's the case, man, yeah, a quarter, 2 series, maybe, boom, we're good. We'll get out. Don't worry about it. But when we have to learn, when we have to get to that point where we're comfortable, where the quarterback's comfortable with defenses, he's comfortable identifying this and making audibles. We're nowhere near that. So we need to get there because the less he plays with live bullets, the longer it's going to take for him to get efficient at doing it. Nothing more, nothing less. That's all.
I'll add a little something to that.
Look at Scrolls.
You caught that? You saw that one too? I was wondering if that was what you were laughing at. The Scrolls again with the super chat or with the comment of the day one more time. Let me find you, Scrolls.
While you doing that, what were you saying, Brian?
All right. Do you want to have everybody all healthy but out of rhythm? Or are you willing to risk somebody get hurt for the betterment of the team being all on the same page?
Yeah, we got to get that off.
That wasn't that bad. What are you worried about, man? They happen.
Man, the algorithm picks up on keywords, man. That's all I know. But I
don't think there's even a which word you worried
Trust
about.
me, I done homework. You got to avoid that one because hey, listen, yeah, I mean. In the grass, man, dog, it's a violent, physical ass game. And, I think, to be honest with you, some of the stuff that I used to do, getting myself ready for football was more riskier than actually playing football because of the pounding that you put on your body, stretching and running and doing all these hardcore, these burst drills and things like that. It's a lot of risk playing that sport, man, and you put a physical wear and tear on your body like you wouldn't believe, man. And so by the time, the actual games start to happen, the formula is supposed to be, okay, your body should be tested and ready for this actual game. And in reality, man, you might have been putting too much pressure on your body in the offseason, doing a little bit too much. And the minute you get out there, pop, something goes. But that's
Who was that 49? Who was that 49ers player that hurt his ankle or Achilles in the playoff? Just going from the bench to the field. It was last year.
The linebacker.
Yeah.
That was a linebacker.
Oh yeah, you talking about
Greenlaw?
Yeah, Drake Greenlaw.
Yeah, Greenlaw. Same thing happened to Joe Burrow too, right? He took a snap back, and there goes his foot. He's got problems. He had to deal with that there last season. If there's injuries to happen, they're going to happen. Same token, you probably actually want to get out on the field and see if those injuries occur. Right,
bro. Go ahead. Going into my senior year of college, we finished number 3 in the country after my junior year, 1AA. Couldn't go to the playoffs due to our stupid league rules, which we can go now, but I digress. I was scheduled to be the starting fullback because we're going back to a 2-back offense instead of the run and shoot. I was going to be the dude. I'm warming up literally 10 days before I had to leave to go to camp. I had 135. Now, mind you, I'm 205, squatted almost 6, bench 315, hang clean 315, just best shape of my life. I pulled a muscle in my back warming up with 135 on a squat.
Damn.
130 that I could have done blindfolded in my sleep. and I couldn't lift those last 10 days. I couldn't lift. I couldn't participate in when I got to camp because obviously I called my coach right away. I said, Coach, I was warming up, and so injuries can happen anywhere. You just can't let that determine your plan. Get a plan. Now, if you say, hey, you know what, you're playing 4 series, boom, 4 series, end of story. Cool. Don't say that's the one thing you can't say. Oh, well, 4 series were quick, so let's give you another one. No. Stick with the plan.
Mm-hmm.
Stick with the plan. 4 series or the half, whatever comes first. All right, 4 series or the half. That's what you got, and stick with it, and I'll be good with it because they're going to happen. If it's meant to be, if it's meant for you to get hurt, you're going to get hurt. It's just the way the world works.
You know
so
what?
You just can't be building your game plan around injuries.
You know what? In the graphs, just to let you know, we're not hostile to that statement. Matter of fact,
No.
I just want to give some clarity to it. I believe 100% that there's going to be a powwow before this preseason start, and it's going to be somewhere in between that first or second week of practice, in and around when they put the pads on, probably third, fourth day into them everybody being camp, veterans and the rookies. Excuse me. But there's going to absolutely be a powwow as to, Flus won't be in that decision-making process by himself with the coaches. That's going to go through the front office too, being posed. They're going to sit down.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to sit down and be like, hey, man, listen, this is what we have planned for Caleb and this offensive line. We think they need all the snaps in the world. We're going to go out there and play them for a half right away. And, Ryan Poles may be like, you know what? But it is really a wait and see situation because it's going to come down to how much work was being put in, how much can they come to the table when they get together, what it looks like, and how consistent is it. That's what it comes down to, consistency. That's all coaches standing there on the sidelines with his arm folded looking for consistency. Do they have this? Is it musical? Does it have beat and rhythm to it? Does it look good? Does it feel good? All that stuff.
Say that again. Does it look good and does it
feel good?
That's what it is. When he sees it, because they might not get when you'll feel it. As a coach, I'm telling you, you feel it. When your boys got it, when your guys got it, it could be the first series or it could take the 9th series. But when they got it, you're like, okay, good. They will see it. Mm-hmm. They will absolutely see it. Like, okay, you know what? Cool, we're done. We're good. We'll wait. Either we'll wait till next week because when they're gonna draw up a plan. What they want to see in week 1 or first preseason game, second preseason game. If they see it sooner than the 4 series, maybe they might just say, you know what? I'm good. I saw it. I liked it. He did this. He did that. He did this. He did that. Boom. Good. We're done. Now we're out.
So for instance, Sean, let's say they have the plan to go out there and give them the half. Go ahead and give them a half, and let's see. It comes off well. They executed it. He got in and out of the huddle into the line of scrimmage on time. The center and quarterback were in symmetry. The line was together. And they seen it for an entire half. Okay, now the coach is going to want to go right back to the drawing board. Let's see if that translates again next preseason.
Next week. Yep.
And so he goes out there with the plan to give him a whole half this time, but he sees it in a quarter. That's when you pull the plug.
Yep.
Right?
I got one question about this, if you don't mind. If you're talking about, Caleb is doing everything that they want to see.
Identifying defenses, calling the mic. If he's got all that, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Like something like that. Okay, go ahead, Brian.
How long would you keep the starting O-line in for a backup to work behind?
You know what? That's not very important. Be honest, quite honest with you. You do want to give your backup some opportunities in front of the ones if you can, but that's not as much as a priority as it is for him for that O-line. You don't want to beat the shit out of them, but you do want to give them some looks with the backup quarterback. I know the backup would appreciate it. Let me show you what I look like behind the ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
you're gonna mix them. All right. So maybe the first 2 series, all right, it's the starting 5. And then the next one, maybe Shelton goes in at guard. All right, Nate Davis. I don't feel good. I have diarrhea. Okay, good. We'll pull you out. All right, and you put Shelton in. All right, and then you put Kiran in. All right, then you put, you know what I mean. You're gonna pick and choose, because in a regular game, what if this guy gets hurt? What if that guy gets hurt?
Yeah.
So you want them to be, hey, listen, you know what? I'm comfortable with the ones, okay, being a backup, all right, and I'm actually seeing better talent because I'm with the number ones. So after like the first two series, I would say you start mixing and matching, and and then by the end of the, and then maybe the start of the second quarter, or maybe the last drive, you put your starting 5 offensive linemen back in. Like, all right, cool, let's go down and score. See if we can. Let's go down and score.
What? By the same token, I mean, maybe not in game, but you could always, if Bates wins the starting job, he could always be practicing snaps with Bajent, and I can't think of the other guy.
Ripien?
I can never think of that
Ripien.
kid's name.
Ripien?
Brett Rippin.
Well, no, the one from Western Kentucky.
Oh, yeah.
Damn, I can't think of his name right up top either. Yeah, I'm eager to see him too, by the way.
Yeah, but I mean, they could be practicing on the sidelines, snaps, and getting cadence worked out, what have you.
Yeah, but again, it's not live bullets. You can practice all you want on the sideline.
It's getting familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Austin Reed.
Austin Reed. There you go.
You're right. Good one. Good call, man. But yeah, all that, man. It's so many different. People say that. I hear this all the time. Even amongst each other, we say this, that there's not enough stuff to talk about during the off season. I think like the conversation we had today, with it being so nuanced and so particular about certain things, this is where you get your conversation from. This is the kind of conversation that the Bears fans want to have with these podcasters out here and these football people. And I hope that we did our job today and we earned some subs or something, some likes at the very least, man. So either one of them is free. So make sure you pound that like button for us before you go. And if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed this conversation and this content, make sure you give us a sub, man. That's just all the love we ask for. And it's all free. And so I say that for the sake of the Nomad Network and for Sports Zone Chicago for my guy Sean. So do us both a favor and hit us up, hook us up with some subs and some likes, man. We love to see these things run up before the camp starts. But we got to get ready to get out of here. So I'm going to pass the ball to my guy, the Canuck, so we can wrap this conversation up.
Sweet. And, I think I'll start the ending a little bit like this. Superflex Fantasy Football Show and Podcast coming to you soon. Stay tuned. Keep your ears open and eyes to the ground and all that stuff. We'll give you much more information and where you can sign up. All those details are being banged out as we speak. It's going to be a fantastic season. Bears are going to crush things, but should be fun across the NFL for all football fans out there. So by all means, hit me up on Twitter at KedsTheCanuck. Hit Nomad up as well, and we'll get you guys involved if you're interested in playing some fantasy football. You too, Adam Mason. It'd be cool to have you on in one of our leagues, chopping it up. We're going to have a whole lot of fun. In any event, let me give you guys some love as per normal. Just gave my guy Adam Mason a little bit of love. Dante Purify, what up? What it do? In the Grasp is out there. How's it going in the Grasp? We've got Robert Lee's out there with us. Don Burr's.
Is that Robert E. Lee?
Love from us. Absolutely no love for Don Burr. The Nodge. How's it going, the Nodge? Hope everything is well. James Ford is out there. The Scrolls, again, with some classics. The Scrolls always comes up with some comedy for us. So always good to have you on the show there, the Scrolls. Black Rain, what it do, Petty Murphy? Who else we got? Who am I missing out there?
Dante Purify, my guy, man. I'm going to holler at you, Dante.
See, bit of love for Dante, Bears Junkie, Ron Winarski. How's it going, Ron? Maybe a couple more folks. Oh, King Booker World, we did give you some love, but it's always good to give you some love, sir. Thanks for coming through as per normal. Jason Jones and Jason, big shout outs to both of you. Thanks for coming through. Squeegee, Plank, Cornelius Squalls, It's Crimson, KQ, I think I got just about everybody listed out there. Big shout outs to all y'all Nomaniacs. Come join us for the Super Flex show and join my guy, the Superback, on Sports Zone Chicago. Superback.
Yeah. Sports owners and Omaniacs Unite. I will be back tomorrow, 9 a.m. to 11 Central Time. Tune in on the YouTube channel. We got baseball. We're talking baseball. There it is. Sports Zone Chicago's logo. Follow us on, subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's free. All right. I got Bob Nightingale coming on 9:15. We're starting early. Talking about the horse bleep baseball teams we have.
Yeah.
And that
What can we do?
at 10 o'clock, we're going to talk a little Bulls basketball with my guy from ChicagoBullseye.com, Fred Pfeiffer. And then I'm waiting for my Bears guy to respond. And we should have a Bears guy around 10:30. So make sure you tune in tomorrow, 9 a.m. to 11. It's going to be a full show. I am fired the freak up. Be smooth.
Well, once again, No Maniacs, and Sports Zoners, another great show. There were some things that, kind of opened my eyes to. Like most of you guys in chat, I'm just a fan. I'm not an ex-player or coach or anything like that. So I always really enjoy these podcasts, and it's always good to interact and see you guys. And I enjoy starting my Wednesday morning listening to the Superback with all Chicago sports. Even though I'm not from Chicago or live there, there's Chicago teams are still dear to my heart. And he always has a good show. He's not quite as fired up as he was last week, but who knows how things can change between now and then. It's always a good listening. Once again, bless you all. Have a safe, wonderful day, and look forward to seeing you again.
Hey, I appreciate everybody for being here. Thank you, fellas. This was a really good show. I'm glad the conversation took the turns it took, because it brought out some interesting things that we rightly pointed out, man. And the comments were fire. Y'all were freaking fire in that chat today, man. I loved every bit of that, man. The energy was good, asking all the right stuff. And hopefully nobody took any answer that we gave them, man. We're friendly over here, man. And nobody's a dummy. Nobody's, just because you think you don't know football as well and you're talking to football people, there's no stupid questions. There's no stupid questions. Don't say it, Sean. Because we do have Get Off My Lawn, Sean, in case you do come in here with something real crazy.
I like that one. Get off my lawn, Sean. Yeah, baby.
But we're going to be respectful no matter what. You ask whatever you want to ask. We got time. We'll answer those questions. Just don't ever take anything that we respond to as something hostile. We ain't going to be hostile to a question. Not at all, man. So with that being said, I do appreciate everybody for coming. It was a great time. And let me just give you guys a couple of inspiring words, man, because it is harvest season, man. It is harvest season. I know most people I know go to the grocery store at least once every couple of weeks, right? At least, most people go once a week. I'm one of those people. I'm a bulk shopper. And when I go to the store, I get a bunch, so I ain't got to keep running my ass back and forth. I do not like the grocery store. Do not like it whatsoever. I'm glad I got a girlfriend that likes to do that kind of stuff. But, here's what I mean by harvest time. Instead of going and buying, bonded products from the grocery store, so far as vegetables and fruit and things like that, find yourself a local farmer's market. Find yourself a local farmer that has his stuff and it's organic, grown, and he's got too much of it to feed his own family, and he's looking kind of to get rid of it. You're going to find bargains out the wazoo, and it's really good product. So
you're supporting local.
That's right. You supporting somebody that's locally growing this stuff, and it's great. It's just great for connection anyway. You get to meet people, and it's very, very personal. And so I like doing that kind of thing. I'm one of those people that grows my own, and I like to grow extra. And when I grow extra, everybody on the block, all the old ladies, and they get all the free cucumbers and squash and all that stuff, man, peppers. No, Sean, don't you dare, don't you even think about it. But
wow, look at the time.
yeah, but yeah, we enjoy really giving out, because a couple years ago, man, we had this big, huge bumper crop. And if you don't know what that means, when you get a bumper crop, that means you're getting way more than what you normally would get during the
Expected.
season. Yeah. So we had this. So there's a local, elderly center. I don't want to call it an old folks home because it's not. It's they feed the elderly down there, the needy elderly, and it's a food bank also involved in it. So we enjoyed giving those green tomatoes and those cucumbers and all that stuff that we grew, the peppers, all the stuff that we grew. We enjoyed taking bushels of that stuff down there. And so they look forward to it. Hey, you got some new green tomatoes? I want some green tomatoes. Everybody likes fried green tomatoes. So
bingo.
Never grow too many of those. So I just would encourage you guys to maybe buy less from the grocery store when it comes to the produce this time of year, because this is harvest season, and there's people right around you more than likely that are looking to basically give away some product to you. So check them out. Look on your Google map it, see if there's a farmers market or people in your area that may have produce for you. But it's just a great thing to do if you like to stay connected to the community, and that's me. And so with that being said, guys, thank you again for being a part of the show. My famous words is this, and I believe this inside my heart, and I hope you do too. If you can think it and then see it, you can absolutely manifest it. You just got to go make it happen out there, babe. That's it. With that being said, I'm going to leave y'all with my famous last words. Love, peace, and hair grease, y'all. We out.
Bear down, folks.